County Lawyers Association. On behalf of NYCLA, I want all of you to know how grateful we are that you have joined us this evening. Because we value your participation in this dinner so highly, we have been working hard for months to make our program this evening interesting, relevant, and meaningful to all of you. Yet, it was only last Friday that we were reminded once again of the currency and relevance for the legal profession of our theme tonight. As you know, our theme is celebrating LGBT equality. Last Friday, the United States Supreme Court agreed to hear two cases challenging state and federal laws that limit the right of same-sex couples. Rodney Kaplan, who is one of our honorees tonight, is counsel for the plaintiff in one of those two cases. Rodney represents Edith Windsor, the plaintiff who successfully challenged in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals the constitutionality of the Defense of Marriage Act. We are also delighted to have the Honorable Eric T. Schneiderman, the Attorney General of the State of New York, as our keynote speaker. In addition, the Honorable Christine C. Quinn, the Speaker of the New York City Council, will present remarks. Finally, we are presenting an award to our good friend and colleague, Sue Jacobs, and we also have a few surprises for you this evening. Please also note that we've worked hard to maintain a tight timeline for this evening so our program stays on schedule. To honor that timeline, I'm going to provide only a brief introduction for each of the more than 100 judges and other public officials who have joined us as guests this evening. Actually, we're not going to do that because we don't have time. Instead, I will introduce only 5 of those 100-plus judges. The distinguished Chief Judge of the State of New York, the Honorable Jonathan Littman, and 3 of his Court of Appeals colleagues, the Honorable Carmen Beauchamp-Siparik, the Honorable Victoria A. Raffio, and the Honorable Robert S. Smith, as well as the distinguished Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, the Honorable Loretta A. Prescott. Other than that, I will limit my remarks at this point to introducing NYCLA's President, Stewart Aaron. Stewart is the partner in charge of the New York office of the law firm of Arnold & Porter. He is a leading commercial litigator, and he is the president of NYCLA. Perhaps most important, for the past 17 years, Stewart has been a member of the illustrious author team of NYCLA's legendary treatise on commercial litigation in New York State courts. Stewart is renowned for his work ethic and dedication. He has provided thoughtful and vigorous leadership for NYCLA since becoming president about 18 months ago. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the New York County Lawyers Association, Stewart Aaron.
Thank you, Bob, for that introduction. I'm going to speak for a few short minutes about my experiences as NYCLA president. It's hard to believe that I have less than 6 months left in my 2-year term. This past year, in support of NYCLA's mission, I've been fortunate enough to meet with state and federal judges and bar leaders to discuss issues confronting the judiciary and the legal profession, to appear for the second time in my presidency on Inside City Hall on New York 1, this time to discuss media attacks on the judiciary who issued stop and frisk decisions, to use my bully pulpit to advocate in support of restoration of judicial budget cuts, and to meet many NYCLA members at programs and social events such as this one. It's been a great year for NYCLA. Our committees and our task forces are going very strong, and I know that many of you in the audience participate in them, and for that, I thank you. In addition, our CLE programs are doing very well. Over the past year, we've had 125 programs with over 6,000 attendees. Our pro bono programs have been very successful. Over the past year, we've represented more than 1,600 pro bono clients, and I'm particularly proud of how NYCLA members stepped up to provide assistance to those affected by Superstorm Sandy. I'm delighted today that we have with us Attorney General Schneiderman and New York City Council Speaker Christine Quinn, who are here to help us celebrate the theme of our dinner, LGBT equality. Now, LGBT equality is something that NYCLA has supported for many, many years. 9 years ago, the NYCLA Board of Directors adopted a resolution urging New York State to extend equal marriage rights to same-sex couples. Since then, we've issued reports, testified at hearings, and submitted 4 amicus briefs in state courts. Most recently, we were fortunate enough to join in the amicus brief in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in the Windsor case, about which Bob Hague mentioned earlier. Our William Nelson Cromwell awarding tonight, Roberta Kaplan, obviously did a terrific job representing Edith Windsor, and tonight we celebrate her victory in that case, not only for the LGBT community, but for all of us who believe that everyone should be free to marry whomever they like. Like Roberta, NYCLA will continue to fight for marriage equality and equal protection under the law. Our commitment is unwavering. Now, of course, there have been many who have devoted themselves to achieve LGBT equality, and I'd like to recognize all the law firms and corporations represented on this dais for support of this most important initiative. My congratulations also to Sue Jacobs, who received the 2012 Boris Castellan's President's Medal for record of dedication and service to NYCLA. Thank you. My thanks also go out to the NYCLA staff for all the hard work and dedication. This dedication was really demonstrated in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy, when they had to work for a time without internet service, without telephones, and they did a terrific job. I'd like to thank Barbara Moses, my president-elect, who has stepped up to fill in for me when I engaged in my side job of practicing law. And my thanks to the dinner co-chairs, Bob Hague and Michelle Coleman-Mays, for the wonderful job in putting together this dinner, as well as Sophia Giancopoulos. Without her, this dinner could not go forward. Before closing, I'd like to thank my partners and colleagues that are on the corner, who are seated somewhere down here in front, and for their support of me and NYCLA. It truly is an honor to work in a law firm with the same inclusive values as NYCLA, including a deep commitment to LGBT equality. And I'd like to thank my wife, Christine. There she is. She's sitting down here in front. I only have about 5 months left, honey, and then you'll be asking me to get out of the house more. For those of you here last year, you may remember I kept my promise of not singing at this event. While at the risk of instigating impeachment proceedings, things are going to be different tonight. And I'll ask my friends Martha Cohen-Stein, who hopefully are like somewhere close by, Rita Warner and Peter DeZosa to come up to the dais. Here they are. So what I did was I took an old Woody Guthrie song and I rewrote the lyrics. And this song was made famous by Peter, Paul, and Mary. I named this song, "This Bar Is Your Bar." And I invite all of you to sing along during the chorus, and the chorus is, "NYCLA was made for you and me." So hopefully the song's going to be familiar to all of you. These microphones working? Oh, this is good. You have the guitar? Here we go.
who has provided extraordinary leadership toward LGBT equality, our theme tonight. I'm not going to say anything about Eric's numerous initiatives and policies as Attorney General, lest I be unfairly accused of politicking. I do want to say something briefly, however, about the Office of the Attorney General, the Chief Legal Officer of the State of New York. As you know, being the AG is a very high-profile legal job, and many in the legal community have differing views about various of the AG's initiatives and investigations that make the headlines. Yet the matters in the headlines are just the tip of the iceberg. There are more than 650 lawyers in the AG's office, and the work that many of them do does not make the headlines, yet is important to every citizen in New York. One way to look at attorneys general is from the perspective of anyone who works in or deals with a law office. Whether they're operating a first-class professional law office, whether they're ethical or honest, whether they're hiring good lawyers on the merits without regard to their political affiliation, whether the assistant attorney generals are well-prepared and hardworking, whether their guiding principles are honoring the rule of law and doing the right thing, and whether they're doing a competent and effective job of representing their client, the state of New York and you. Based on everything I hear, I believe that the law office, which Eric heads, is doing a superb job from the perspective of each of the criteria I just outlined. It is therefore my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Eric T. Schneiderman, the 65th Attorney General of the State of New York.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. I have to acknowledge, in full disclosure, Bob and I are family, and we have known each other since we were very young. And it is really a pleasure to be here in a celebration of equality, and to be here in this particular forum, because the New York County Lawyers Association was in fact started 104 years ago, because at that time none of the existing bar associations were open to all lawyers. And it is appropriate that in a bar association created on the principle of equality, we are here to celebrate what to me is just the latest part of a great American tradition of moving towards greater justice and greater equality for all, and that's the LGBT. So I'm supposed to be giving substantive remarks. Musical entertainment will return later, but I have to say that this is an organization. I'm the first, I think, Attorney General, certainly in modern history, that spent more of my time as a lawyer in private practice and as a New York County lawyer, in fact, than I have in the government. I take great pride in being a New York County lawyer. I take great pride in the work that you all do and in the tradition of this bar. I have to say, Bob gets a little carried away as to sort of taking credit for the work of New York County lawyers. You know, Thurgood Marshall, yeah, oh yes, well, he had an office in the NAACP for a few years up in 125th Street. And Clarence Darrow, oh yeah, he was at a place on Park Place, he was a New York County lawyer for a while. And Thomas Jefferson, oh yeah, on his way back home